In that first reading from the prophet Isaiah, the Lord is saying, "What care I for your sacrifices? I've had enough of your burnt offerings, those rams, the fatlings, the calves, the goats, the sheep. I take no pleasure in these." And a big part of the reason he doesn't take pleasure in it is not because it's not what he has instructed them to do, but because they are doing so without real devotion. They're doing so without love of God. They're doing so in opposition to him in some ways, where they are doing this because it's what God has said, but they don't really follow God. They don't really love God. They don't obey his other commands when he says, be just with others. Don't steal from people. Don't lie to them. Don't cheat them. They're still going about doing those things and then bringing their sacrifices without any repentance or sorrow for their sins. There is an aspect of the Lord here is saying that if you do these offerings, even if it is a right offering, even if it is right worship, but your heart's not in it, there's something wrong with that. And that worship is not really worth anything. But I think it's also important to know the other side of that, right? Because somebody can say, well, my heart is really into it. My heart, I really love God. And then they say, well, so then I don't have to offer sacrifice. I don't have to worship. I don't have to do with these other things that God has told me. And we would say that's wrong too. It's not enough to say, well, I really love God. But if you loved him, you would follow him. And you would do what he asks you to do. And you would sacrifice how he asks you to sacrifice. And you would do so with that devotion. So it's not just enough to say I love God and not sacrifice. And it's not enough to say I sacrifice to God if you don't love him. You need both. You need that love of God, and you need to follow what he teaches and what he commands. And only when you have both does it work. Because love is more than just a feeling. It's more than just saying, well, I love God. It's no, if you really love him, you would do what he says. And if you're doing what he says and not really loving him, that's not love either. So both of those things are important. And that's part of the reason that we have events like Totus Tuus. We have these opportunities for you as young people to come to know God and to love him, but also to serve him, to follow him, to know what he teaches so that you can say yes to him, to know that he calls us to pray and you can spend time in prayer, to know that he calls us to come to Mass and to participate in that one eternal sacrifice of Christ and his cross. And you can come to Mass and participate in this gift that he offers and make that sacrifice with him. All of these elements are so important and so necessary. And if we only had one or the other, we would never have enough. And the Lord would say, that's not good enough. That's not really love. Let our hearts grow in love and in that knowledge of God so that we might know what it is, we might know God and what he says, what he asks us to do. And in that love for him, we might carry it out faithfully.